It's that time of year. You are busy either getting ready to plant or you are already started with the process. In either case, your local USDA Farm Service Agency office is requesting your help this spring to ensure a smooth acreage reporting process. This short video will explain what FSA is looking for and why, as part of its acreage reporting process. We want to make this as efficient for you as possible because we know how busy you are this time of year. So what do we have acreage reporting? Acreage reporting is a requirement to maintain eligibility for many USDA program benefits. This includes safety net programs, disaster programs, conservation reserve program, ad hoc programs authorized by Congress, and to establish planning history. USDA program benefits may be impacted by failing to file an accurate acreage report. There are some important acreage reporting deadlines producers need to keep in mind. Fall seeded crops must be reported by November 15th. This includes fall seeded small grains such as wheat, oats, rye, and producers with honeybees with crop insurance apiculture coverage. The acreage reporting deadline for spring seeded crops is July 15th. These are crops such as corn, soybeans, grain sorghum, sunflowers, sugar beets, and cover crops. July 15th is also the deadline to report Conservation Reserve Program acres and perennial forages such as pasture and hay. For CRP, it's important to note that a signatory to the CRP contract or someone with the power of attorney for someone on the CRP contract must sign the FSA 578 to certify the CRP acres. While this deadline is some time down the road, spring acreage reporting is a big workload, and our Nebraska FSA county offices are putting the pieces together now so that the certification process runs smoothly for both them and you as the FSA farm and ranch customer. Timely submitting your acreage reporting information by the corresponding deadlines will help you avoid late filing fees. There are also some special acreage reporting dates producers need to keep in mind. Crops with Non-Insured Disaster Assistance Program coverage, or NAP, must be reported by the earlier of the established acreage reporting date for the crop or the commodity, or 15 calendar days before the onset of harvest or grazing of the specific crop acreage being reported, or the established normal harvest date for the end of the coverage period. For value loss and controlled environment crops, this is September 30th of the ensuing crop year. For honey, this is January 2nd of the crop year, or within 30 days of the colony acquisition, the colony is brought into or removed from the county. Grapes in Lancaster County must be reported by January 15th. Grapes in all other counties in Nebraska must be reported by July 15th. Producers may also have situations where the crop is unable to be planted or may have failed as a result of a natural disaster. Prevent plant due to natural disaster must be reported after the final plant date for the crop, but no later than 15 days after the final plant date to be considered timely filed. A CCC 576 notice of loss must also be filed. Acreage that has failed due to a natural disaster must be reported before the destruction of the crop. The FSA county office must verify the loss conditions. A CCC 576 notice of loss must also be filed for failed conditions. Note the final planting date is different from the acreage reporting deadline. Check with your local FSA office as soon as possible if you are unable to plant your crops or if they fail due to a natural disaster. Crops not reported by the specific acreage reporting deadlines or prevent plant and fail deadlines can still be reported but are subject to FSA late file provisions. This may include assessment of a late file fee and may require field visit by an FSA representative. To prevent paying a fee and being subject to the late file provisions, make sure to report by the corresponding acreage reporting deadlines. Specific information is required by your FSA office in order to report your acreage. Some information may print on the FSA maps provided. Farm tract and field information will be on the maps. If the entire field is not planted to the crop, areas that are not planted must be separated out and deducted from areas that are planted. FSA also needs to know the crop that was planted, the crop type, what the intended use for the crop is, if the crop is irrigated or not, the date the crop was planted, and the producers and shares for the crop. Make sure to account for all cropland when reporting your acres. If you do not have a map, you can still facilitate the acreage reporting process by writing down on a field-by-field basis the relevant information, including the crop, when it was planted, and where it was planted. Offices may also be able to provide a copy of the previous year's maps as a starting point from which to work on this year's maps. In addition to reporting your acreage, make sure to notify your local FSA office of any changes in operation. Operators and tenants, did you acquire any new ground this season or lose any ground? For landowners, did you acquire any new renters or make any operator changes? For operators, tenants, and landowners, did your shares change from last year? For example, going from shares to cash rent or having a share percentage change. Whether you are the actual landowner or operator or tenant, It is critical that you maintain with your county FSA office information regarding what land you are farming or ranching and your shares on each piece of ground in your operation. This information is critical for FSA acreage reporting and getting all records appropriately established within the farm record system. Along with changes in operation, were there any changes in the physical land? Were there any new buildings, houses, or lots built on the farm? Is there any cropland that is now used for other agricultural uses or that has been retired from agricultural use altogether? Were any trees removed, and was there any new cropland broken out, increasing the cropland on the farm? And was there any land ownership changes, including land bought or sold? Make sure your FSA office is aware of any physical land changes that may affect FSA programs. This is also critical for ensuring FSA farm records are maintained accurately within the farm record systems. So how can you initiate the acreage reporting process? County offices can complete most acreage reporting through digital means, emails, and answering questions by phone, in addition to visiting the office. Producers should be proactive in contacting their FSA office to obtain maps and complete the acreage reporting process timely. It's important to remember that county offices are trying to help several hundred to several thousand producers and owners in each office. Contact your office as soon as possible after planting to provide your acreage reporting information and complete the reporting process. The office may schedule appointments to help manage workload and ensure they can assist every producer reporting their acreage. It's also very important for you to review the information on the maps and the information loaded by the county office on the FSA 578 for accuracy before you sign them. Once they are signed, you are agreeing that the information on the document is accurate and reported correctly for FSA program purposes. Thank you for helping the Nebraska Farm Service Agency with the acreage reporting process. Remember, our goal is to help you maintain eligibility for program benefits, and acreage reporting is a critical part of that process.